As your website grows and becomes more complex, we might want to take advantage of some of the advanced features available in Akiba Solo to exclude some data from the backup itself. To begin with, let's look at the database tables exclusion. Here we can see listed all the tables that exist in the database. Now, not all of these might be related to our Drupal website. For example, here I had the database tables for a PHP BB site. Now, Akiba is very clever. If I click on this exclude non-core table, it will go through the entire list of database tables and flag all the ones that are not part of this Drupal installation to be excluded from the backup. As you can see, all of the PHP B tables have now been flagged to be excluded from the backup. I can also see several tables that have also been marked in a slightly different way. These are some of the core tables for our website that are related to cache. In this case, we do want to restore the database table, but we don't want to transfer the contents. So the field has been flagged here for do not backup its contents. If you want to see a list of all the tables that are going to be excluded, you can click on Summary View. Now that we've excluded the database tables that are not related to this website, let's have a look at some of the files. If we go back to our control panel, we can see we have a files and directories exclusion as well. We can see that the Akiba Solo folder has been marked as not to be backed up, as we only want to back up our Drupal websites. Now, in this site, inside my files folder, I have several large folders, downloads and videos. They're pretty large, and I don't want to include those in my backup, as I've got a copy of them elsewhere. If I click on this icon here, I can exclude the entire video directory. I can do the same for my downloads, or I could just skip the subdirectories and keep the main one. Over here we can see I have one particularly large file, which is a PDF, which I also don't need to back up. I'm going to click on that icon to exclude that individual file. Again, we can see a list of all the files that we've set to be excluded. And you can see that I've set it to exclude those two big directories and that PDF. I can now return to the control panel and perform a new backup, and that will exclude those database tables that are not related to this Drupal website and those large downloads and videos directories which I decided I didn't want to include.